Episode number, is it 60? What's this episode? 60 something? It's 60 something. Let's see. Oh, I should probably get this get this going. Oh, hey. Oh, hey. Hey, everybody. Texted. All right, let me find my podcasts here. My stuff. What? Why is this not refreshed in like? What up, Santa Barbara? We got a little bit of Steven Esteban in the house. Yeah, dude, I totally spaced out, and I got home, and I played a gig tonight, and sitting around watching Cheers, not doing shit. Forgot to release an episode, and I owe on Wednesdays and Sundays, but for some reason, why am I not able to? All right, I'm gonna get to content in just a second, guys. Just bear with me here. Yeah, so I had number 68. Okay, so this is number 69. Hey. All right. So I had a gig at Wahoo's tonight. Let me get the song for the podcast in here. There's that. Mute that. Come over here to there. All right, we're going to do a little talking now. Okay, so this is completely off the cuff, and we're just going to see how well we do winging it today because I have zero notes. I was literally laying on the couch watching Cheers, which is paused right now. And I was like, "Oh shit, I forgot to do a podcast. I forgot to release an episode." And I intended to do that as soon as I got done with my gig tonight. But here's what happened with that. So I get a call at about 2 o'clock today, or get a text at around 2 o'clock today, and Tony from Wahoo's was like, "Hey man, Wahoo's is," I was supposed to be playing a duo tonight at Wahoo's with Smitty. Tony was like, "Hey man, Wahoo's is closed tonight, and they're gonna move you inside Bovines, which is right next to Wahoo's." And for those of you not familiar with the area down here in Merle's Inlet, Wahoo's is like an outside tiki bar basically, but there's like a pretty nice, like a wood fire pizza grill and awesome steaks and Bovines next door. So it's a little bit more of a elegant and quiet sort of gig. So they switched it from duo to solo and brought me inside. So I went out there and I did that gig, and it was I started off super duper quiet, and I had that sort of a crowd that you get whenever will do, my man. Will do, Esteban. Yeah, so I ended up having one of those gigs and one of those crowds that they were a little afraid to clap or make noise because nobody else was doing that. And it's like you could look around and people were like preparing themselves to clap, but they weren't because nobody else was. And it was one of those gigs. And a lot of musicians probably have dealt with that a lot in a situation. But the longer the night went on, the more I, excuse me, longer the night went on, the more I kicked up the volume a little bit, and ended up being a really, really, really cool gig at the end. But I was talking to Trina, whose birth is my birthday buddy, Me and Trina have the same birthday, and she stopped by. She dates the bartender from Bovines, and she stopped by. I was talking to her for a little while after the gig, and I started thinking about having to do the podcast and everything, and I was like, I didn't release episode earlier today, and I could have. I just chose not to for some odd god awful reason. And actually, I know why I didn't release one episode one earlier, because I was dealing with getting up with Smitty and making sure that he knew about tonight. And then I was getting up with Scott Bird about making some other deals with some other gigs that are coming up here in the future, and doing a lot of telephone work. But anyway, hence all of that stuff I had going on, I didn't release an episode earlier, and I wanted to get home and go ahead and get the episode out of the way. Not to like it's a chore, but I just wanted to get it done. Anyway, I get in such a hurry to leave. I get all my stuff. I get out. I bring everything home. I get everything almost unloaded. I look at my phone, and Trina, my birthday buddy, had texted me and said, "So did you want your check at all?" Because apparently I just got so stoked about getting out of there that I forgot to get my check, and I was like, "Oh shit, yes, I kind of do need that." So I will. I'll be right back. So I went ahead and unloaded my car. That way, whenever I got back home from picking up the check, I wouldn't have anything to do. I could just walk in the house and not. I just realized. I'm sorry. I'm going off on a tangent. I apologize. I just realized that it's so much of a mental chore. I've been in the habit for a long time now to where I take everything out of the car when I get home, like immediately. Like that's the first thing that I do when I get home is take everything out of the car and unload all of my equipment, and I sit it right here. But I realize that, man, that is just such a mentally strenuous thing to know that I would just rather go ahead and get that out of the way because it's something that I'm going to do anyway. Huh, that's funny. But anyway, I got that out of the way, so I would be able to just park and walk in the door whenever I got home, because apparently that's like a chore for me. Anyway, did that, got everything out of the car, went back and got my check and laughed about that for a second and got home. And after I got home, I ate the pizza that I brought home with me and started, like, I made sure to deposit the check into my account, which is a great thing, by the way, that you can do. Hold on, let me do this right here. Brother English Glover was asking about how I do these things, like these zoom ins, but the Mevo does it all itself. But anyway, I'm not going to sidetrack on that right this second. We'll talk about that a little more in the future of this episode, not like days from now. Anyway, after I get back home, kill that pizza, deposit that check, which is an amazing thing that you can do now. You can take pictures of your check and deposit them into your account, which is amazing. I wish that everything would do that. I wish you could vote that way. I know that's a really easy thing to manipulate, and a lot of folks might take some advantages of that, but that would be so convenient for everybody involved. Anyway, after I do all of that, deposit the check, I realize that it's about 9:45, and I'm like, oh shit, American Horror Story comes on tonight, and I haven't been able to watch an episode new, like live on television yet. I was like, oh shit, so I can watch American Horror Story. I was like, hell yeah. So just immediately in my mind, podcast totally drifts away. And I'm like, man, I ain't got shit to do for the rest of the night. I can watch American Horror Story and chill on the couch in the dark, and everything will be all good and shit. So I watch American Horror Story. I have some random Snapchat conversations about said American Horror Story, and watch the same episode twice because I do crazy shit like that. And after the second episode went over, I was like, okay, well, I guess I'll just watch Cheers now. So I flipped it on to Cheers and I threw a couple of rounds of darts. Oh, yeah. So I play darts against myself. I know this sounds like, okay, this is a crazy person thing. This is the sort of things that crazy people do. But I play cricket by myself and I make a tally for every single time, every set of darts I throw, I'll make a tally. And I see how fast I can close out. And oh shit, I don't do any I don't keep any random points for the things. I'm just doing simple closeout, and I try to see how many throws that I can get it done in. So I started a game earlier, but got the call about all the other stuff, and I was like, oh shit, well I don't have time. I'm gonna have to get this shit together for the gig. So I couldn't finish that game. Finished that game of darts and threw two more, all while watching Cheers. And then I was like, okay, well I haven't. I'm over darts now, so I'm gonna stop doing that, and I guess I'll just lay on the couch and watch Cheers for a little while and scroll through the phone. So I was sitting here, laying on the couch, scrolling through my phone for probably, I don't know, 20 minutes, 25 minutes. And I start thinking, shit, man, I feel like there was something I had to do. And I immediately think about the dishes that I have that are dirty over here in my sink that I haven't done in like 2 or 3 days, which I need to get on. And I ain't even trying to act ashamed of that. I've been so damn good about washing dishes. I haven't had a dirty dish in my sink for more than, outside of this past week, for more than literally just a few hours. But anyway, I was like, yeah, no, because I remember looking at that and deciding that I wasn't going to do them right yet. And then it dawned on me. I was like, oh, shit. It's Thursday now, and I never released a podcast, and I released every Sunday and Wednesday. So I was like, oh, God, what am I going to do? So immediately I jump up, flip the computer on, get the Mevo hooked up, put everything together, get that thing up and running, and I just went live as soon as I got everything plugged in. I just went live. I had no idea what I was going to talk about, and so far all I've done is give you a recap of today and a long explanation, a 10-minute explanation of why this episode is coming at you at the witching hour of 2 o'clock in the morning. Anyway, I digress. So there were some things that I mentioned in the last episode that I did, where I said I would no doubt be talking about the aftermath of that Conor McGregor Khabib fight. And this is not a sports episode, and I'm only going to spend a couple of seconds on this because it's I'm not trying to go down that dead horse road that everybody else has already gone down. But after this fight, and whoever this guy is that's talking shit to Khabib, I cannot pronounce his last name, nor will I try. Whoever's talking shit to this dude and dude jumps out of the fence, jumps out of the cage, and goes after this dude. Joe Rogan put it better than anybody else. Everybody's freaking out over this shit, but somebody got punched at an event where a lot of people were punching each other. I mean, what else are you gonna do? People are beating the shit out of each other in this cage. It's natural that the folks who are at this event are going to be watching. I mean, don't you go to a movie and be like, I could do this? Is it just me? Like you watching a movie, or I'm watching Cheers, And I'm like, yeah, that's me. He's totally me. And, I can relate to what he's going through right there. Like, that's totally me. You go to any movie or whatever, and you can find somebody you can relate to. If you're going to an MMA event and you're watching somebody in this ring, you're watching these two dudes fight, you have to have that thought like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna plug myself into this situation just because. Oh fuck, I just got the shit knocked out of me. Like seriously, you want to plug yourself into these situations so you can see what it feels like too. I think, or maybe I'm just a psychopath that does shit like that. But you gotta think that a lot of these people who were at this fight is thinking, oh, I could do this. Like I could get in there and fight with those dudes. And then at the end of the fight, somebody wants to start talking shit, just like they see these guys do. And then that dude wants to just jump out the damn cage like Spider-Man. Oh, and then after he does that, and apparently that was like Conor McGregor's jiu-jitsu coach who was talking shit to Khabib. After he jumps out of the cage and goes after his jiu-jitsu coach, Conor gets up and he's walking around, and two of Khabib's guys, or two or three, jump the fence like Spider-Man and sucker punch Conor a few times. And I mean, it's nothing to him. Like, he gets hit for a living. I'm sure he didn't give a shit, and he really don't care. He was tweeting right after the fight, like, when we're going to have a rematch. He don't give a shit. He's fine. But these other dudes apparently are losing their citizenship, or not citizenship. They're losing their visas, and they're not going to be able to come back. And I don't see an issue at all with that. I don't see an issue at all with these guys not being allowed back, because if that's how they want to act about. Granted, I know it's not that big of a deal if you think about it. A few people got punched at a place where a lot of people were getting punched. Rogan said that. I'm going to just steal his words because they're the best. And that's the best explanation I've gotten so far. But Dana White totally reminded me of Vince McMahon sitting here explaining like, oh, well, dude, this is not how we act or whatever. And I was like, man, this is 100% some WWE shit is all that I was thinking about. Reminded me of like WWE shit. But anyway, that's all I'm going to give to that little bit right there, except for, oh, God, what's his name? Lewis. The Beast, UFC. He the Black Beast. He's a monster, just a fucking monster, an absolute beast. And I started following on my Instagram. Dude, his post-fight interview was the best thing I've seen. Apparently, he kind of got worked a little bit in the earlier rounds. And I'm talking like I know what I'm talking about. I don't know what I'm talking about. He got worked a little bit in the earlier rounds, but came back with a ridiculous haymaker, as the broadcasters call it, knockout. And, dude, he ripped his pants off at the end. Joe Rogan's like, dude, why you take your pants off, man? Bro, without missing a beat. He's like, my balls was hot. The realest interview I've ever seen in my life happened after that dude's fight. Look up Joe Rogan, the Black Beast interview. I can't remember his real name, so I'll just give you his alias or whatever. But shit, what is his name? It's something Lewis for sure. It's something Lewis. But I really can't remember. Anyway, that was a funny thing that happened outside of all the mayhem that occurred after it. I mean, it was. There's a picture of Khabib literally just clearing a couple of rows to knock the shit out of Conor McGregor's jiu-jitsu coach. That's just him airborne, and it's literally one of the greatest pictures I've ever seen, in one of the greatest sports pictures I've ever seen. But that's just me. Anywho, so I was talking about the Instagram thing. Does everybody else? All right, so I really want some feedback from my listener base. And just depending on how many people listen to this episode, I kind of want to get a gauge for what sort of social networks do you use? So I find myself getting a little frustrated with a lot of stuff that I read through my Facebook page, and especially concerning all the women's rights stuff and the Brett Kavanaugh stuff and the who's right, who's wrong, and then the groups of people who are just congratulating Brett Kavanaugh on getting the seat, or and to be perfectly honest, I don't fall either way on this, and I think you guys pretty much know where I lie, I guess, politically. But I don't like to bring up, which way I lie, which way I fall on any of this, because I really don't fall on a side. I sort of have my own what can I say? I sort of have my own path. I'm not really buying into the cookie cutter that the blue side or the red side's offering. They're like, oh, well, if you're blue, you have to like this, and oppose this, and vice versa for the red. And I don't like that. I don't like that whole process. It's dumb. It's a simple process, and it may work for and do not think that I'm calling somebody who just leans blue or red simple, but it's just an easier thing for folks to latch onto, and it's simpler for them. And I don't hold it against anybody who wants to make those decisions, but it's just not my thing. But either way, I don't really like to state how I feel on this whole Brett Kavanaugh thing, but I notice a lot of folks will just, and I can tell by a lot of the other stuff that these folks post, and of course, somebody may post something that doesn't exactly depict who they are properly, but I can tell by the education level of a lot of people, and wow, I know I'm going to get roasted and drilled for all this now because I brought up an education level. I know, let me just take all that back. Let me just go ahead and start fresh. I know there are a lot of people who are speaking out in support of Brett Kavanaugh who have zero idea what actually went on, have zero idea what the stories are, what the allegations are, or anything. They just know that people who they respect, people whose opinions they respect on social media are saying certain things, so they want to also say these certain things. And I know there's a lot of that going on, and I'm not lost on that at all. But you have to, I get fed up with seeing a lot of this stuff, and it's not just the Brett Kavanaugh thing. And if you ask me, if you really want my opinion on this, I guess I'll give it. I don't know if the woman was or had something awful happen to her. I don't know. I don't know if Brett Kavanaugh is someone who does things like that. I don't know. I wasn't there. I know the stories, but I don't know either of these people personally. And you're only going to get the information from the media that they want you to have. So I don't even think that there's anybody out there who has viewed these situations from a media-covered standpoint who can make a proper assessment of what this situation entails and what actually happened and what actually went down. All I know is that I don't know what went on, but I think that we can all agree that there comes a time when all of the things that have been okay, quote unquote. I'm watching Cheers. The stuff that Sam Malone does in Cheers will be, dude, the stuff that Sam Malone does in Cheers are worse than the things that I think Brett Kavanaugh was where's the word I'm looking for? The things that they say Brett Kavanaugh did are way less than the things that I've seen Sam Malone do in Cheers. And you just think about how the world was back then. And honestly, and I know I bring up shows that I watch a lot, but Cheers is a really good way to describe this. Sam Malone really is a misogynist, basically, and he really didn't hide that at all. But back then, that's just how dudes were. And you've got a lot of folks who still think that that's the world that we live in, that it's the same world as it was back when Sam Malone was running around. But it's not. It's absolutely not. Females are woke to what has been going on. They are fed up with being treated like items and possessions. And there's a lot of awakening that's going on around this whole situation, and I don't think, I will say this: if the things that Brett Kavanaugh did at that party were indeed the things that Dr. Ford says actually happened to her, if these allegations are actually true, if these things are true, and I say if because I don't know these people, I don't know who to believe, I don't know who to trust. I know that that both of them have very prestigious, that both of them hold very prestigious seats in their respective communities. So obviously they had to have done a lot of things either very, very wrong or very, very right to end up in these situations. But they're notable people, and I have no reason to disbelieve either one of them other than it's just my word against theirs. And not to bring up the he said, she said bullshit at Limp Bizkit, but it's literally just a he said, she said. I wasn't at that party. I don't know. And I know that there's a lot of people who are saying, oh, well, so she can't remember what the party was going on. She can remember everything else, like what she was wearing, the day of the party or whatever, but she's missing one little piece of evidence or whatever. Like, I know good lawyers and I know good lawyer tricks. Good lawyer tricks will talk somebody and ask somebody questions into a corner that will absolutely make them look like a fool at no fault of their own. And I know that exists, and I know that that's a real thing, and that's something that's absolutely possible. But also, I might take some fire for this, and I apologize beforehand. But what if it didn't happen? What if it didn't happen? And don't think that I'm saying that, and I'm not, and I'm 100% not. I think you guys have already heard me enough in just these last couple of minutes to realize that I'm not just dismissing this at all. Like, I 100% am privy to what's going on. Like, I'm aware of this awakening of females. I'm aware of this time that all people are being held accountable for the things that they're doing and the things that are just not okay that have been going on too long. Like, the system is, we're advancing. We are an old Macintosh, and some of the old programs work just fine. Some of the programs work just fine, but there are certain things that we just can't do. There's certain ways in which we cannot advance because the operating system has updated so much that our small hard drives and our small RAM cannot process the amount of information that has been upgraded. Wow, did I just come up with that? Fuck. Huh. That wasn't bad right there. I don't mind that at all. Huh. Like, we are an old Macintosh where no new programs can be uploaded because our operating system doesn't recognize it. That doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. That doesn't mean that the program doesn't exist. That just means that we are not in a situation to where we can process it. We're just too old. Wow. This keeps happening. Okay. This is funny. I'm sorry. I'm just having all these realizations right here in real time. I'm glad I got this recorded. But seriously, that doesn't change the fact that the times are changing and that things need to go differently. And I've always, and you can ask anybody who's close to me, I have always been very aware of the situation. And I guess it's because I have sisters, baby sisters, and I've always just feared for them. Just feared for them because I know what the world is. And I know what it's like to be a dude, obviously. And I just know that there's a lot of me's out there in the world. So I have tried my damnedest in my adult life to be the kind of guy that I wouldn't mind somebody who I love and respect to be with. Like I try to do the sort of things that will award good karma. I don't want to get bad karma and end up treating every female that I come across like a piece of shit. And then my sisters end up falling in love with a guy who treats them like a piece of shit. And I wanted to make sure that if ever anything like that did happen, I wouldn't be able to look back and say, shit, you know what, man, maybe this is karma on me. I wanted to go ahead and nip that in the bud so that if somebody who, like my little cousins or nieces or whatever have you, if they end up falling for somebody who treats them like shit or does something wrong to them, I won't be able to look back and say, okay, well, this is karma. This is my karma. But I've always been that way. I've always been that way. Just a lot of the things that I say and bring up in arguments, me and Adam and Smitty had a long conversation a lot of times. The same conversation has been brought up a bunch between us, and I'm not going to give you guys the details of it because it's guy talk. You can't hear it. But there's a lot of things that I'll say, and Smitty will go, I can tell you was raised by women. And I'm like, yeah, well, what's wrong with that? Because I have respect for them, because I actually consider their feelings. I mean, that might make me sound like a bitch to a lot of other dudes, but I quite frankly don't give a shit. I got respect for women, and I don't want to do anything. I don't want to put a woman in an uncomfortable situation. I do not want to put a female in a situation she does not want to be in. And I'm very aware of that. I'm very aware of the fact that there are a lot of women who end up getting put in situations that they do not want to be in, and it's no fault of their own. And honestly, it's probably not really any fault of the guy either. It's just never being taught any better. Like nothing ever happened. If you ask me, I think the shit that's going on right now with all of this awakening that's happening, I think it's great because one, it's going to make little boys grow up knowing that, oh shit, I have to be aware of my actions and I have to be responsible for them at all times. And I have to know that I'm going to be responsible for my actions, whether they be good or bad. And all of this shit that's happening, like all of these women who are speaking out to men who've treated them inappropriately or done things, I think it's fantastic because hopefully it will foster a generation of little boys who know to respect women. But it shouldn't be that way. Men shouldn't respect women because out of fear of persecution, or I'm not speaking biblically, prosecution. Men shouldn't treat women good because they don't want to go to jail. They should treat women good because you want to. Because you want to be a good person. It's like you shouldn't, and I'm going to bring some Bible into this, you shouldn't be a Christian because you don't want to go to hell. You know, you shouldn't do things, you shouldn't do things for the sake of them being done, I guess you could say. Like I don't want to go back to the Bible or to Christianity, but that's the best thing that I can think of. Like you shouldn't adopt your religion or your deity or your God or whatever you call it. You shouldn't run to your spirituality for a fear of going to a bad place. You should do these things to better yourself, and you should do these things to bring yourself to a more heightened state of awareness. And I really think that needs to happen in this country in a vast way. We need to update our OS. There's some Mac talk for you. We need to update our collective processors because we are not able to process the things that are going on in the world right now because we're still stuck in the old ways of thinking and the old ways of living. And just like the Macintosh analogy, a lot of your programs will still work. You can still open up Google Chrome. You can still open up Firefox and Safari or whatever it is you might use. But a lot of your plugins aren't going to work. A lot of things that are going to happen around you, you're not going to really understand or even be aware of or notice because your processor is not allowing you to see it. Is this making any sense? See, you can totally be doing something that is immensely inappropriate, and I'll give an example. I'm not going to give this person's name for obvious reasons once you hear the story. I had a friend who came to me with a problem, and this friend had been caught having conversations over Facebook Messenger with a person of the opposite sex. And this friend apparently said something who the person of the opposite sex may have thought was over the line and proceeded to tell my friend's significant other about this and reach out. And apparently this was a big situation. And obviously no names are being brought up here. But I explained to this person, these things may be completely innocent in your mind, but your mind is still in that old way of thinking. In the new way of thinking, the things that you are doing are immensely offensive and inappropriate. And there's nothing about that. There's nothing about that is kosher. There's nothing about that is kosher. And once upon a time, it would be okay, and that's fine. But screwing somebody is not what cheating is anymore. It's more than that now. Like going through the motions of hitting people up and keeping that ball rolling or whatever, like, oh, I still got it. I'm still in the game, or whatever have you. And that works on both sides of the gender card. And I say both. Who am I to to assume? I apologize for that. But still, it's a different game now. It's a different game that we're playing, and we're still trying to process these things that are happening around us, like, oh, that shit's weird, man. Oh, that shit's gay, man. Oh, that shit's fucked up, man. Like, oh shit, man, that's retarded. And and shit like that. And a bunch of things that shouldn't be said anymore. And by the way, that's the first time I've used that R word in a very long time. I'm really trying to clean up my vocabulary a little bit. Being from the South, there's a lot of words that it took a long time to distinguish myself of, but I have been pretty fucking good over the last couple of years about not saying certain things that just don't need to be said. But anyway, I realize that that's a thing that bothers somebody. And the last thing I want to do in this world is bother somebody or put somebody in an awkward situation, because I hate awkward situations and I hate being bothered. And honestly, the golden rule is the number one way to live. Why not just treat everybody like you want to be treated? Because I know that nobody out there wants to be bothered or annoyed all the time or feel discriminated against or being put in awkward situations. So don't put anybody else in those situations that you don't want to be part of. And that might be a kickstart in karma being good to you, or getting you out of situations that you have been in lately and you don't want to be part of anymore. Maybe that's what's holding you back from, and I'm being really, really hypothetical here. Maybe that's what's holding you back from doing these things in your life that you felt that you needed to accomplish. Maybe you just need to start doing these things to other people. Do the things that you want done to you to other people. And like for instance, if you want to be forgiven for something, then forgive somebody else for something that they've done to you. If you want respect, if you want to be respected, then you show respect to everybody else around you. If you want to be a good leader, then learn how to follow properly. I don't know. I'm talking on off a limb here, and I'm coming to an end. Wow, we got 43 minutes so far. I still haven't done the intro yet, and there's 4 minutes on the front for that. But I totally didn't think I would have 43 minutes of talking, since I was just laying on the couch a minute ago watching Cheers. But yeah, I guess in closing, I'll say I don't know about the Brett Kavanaugh thing. I just don't know. I don't know about the situation. I don't know what happened. I don't think that either. I don't see why either of these people would lie about anything that happened. I really just don't. I don't know. I don't know what the deal is. I don't know why. I don't know. I don't know why there's so many questions around this thing. And honestly, it seems that the media has created, and I'm sorry, I'm coming down on the media, and I'm really not doing that intentionally. I'm just being honest that I just you don't know what's really going on. All we know is what they're telling us, and I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist, but I also don't want to be so daft to think that everything that they say is the gospel truth, to be accepted just all willy-nilly, or however Cliff Claver would say it. All right, well, anyway, so I mentioned that I've been watching the American Horror Story. The new season, Apocalypse, is really good. Also mentioned I've been watching Cheers. If you never watched Cheers, you should go back and watch it, if nothing else, just to see how different life was back then, just to see how different people were treated, and just to see how the world looked from back then. Also, Big Mouth season 2 came out. Nick Kroll was on Rogan's podcast yesterday. I listened to just about that whole thing. I probably got another hour or so left. Watch Big Mouth 2. Alexa tells me that the sequel is better than the first one. So That's a rare thing. So I like to see things like that. Gosh, those characters are so good in that show. But I'm not going to bore you anymore with it. Go watch it. Go watch Big Mouth 2. Several other things on Netflix that I have on my list that I'm sort of trying to bank up. I feel like I want to finish Cheers now that I've hit just about the halfway point. I'm on season 4, episode 24. Right now, so I'm trying to get to at least the halfway point of Cheers before I go and watch some of the scary stuff that's come out. There's a new Netflix thing called it's something about a house or something about. I keep picking my nose. I'm sorry, I got shit. Got bogeys, man, bogeys. Shit, yeah, it's something about like a house or the something hell house or haunted house or some kind of shit like that. Anyway, looks pretty good. But yeah. So that's all I got for you. I'm gonna go ahead and let you go and get out of here. Coming in almost at 50 minutes, but be good people. Be the kind of people that where you'll be satisfied with the karma that you get. Because whether or not you believe in karma, that shit believes in you. And it is real as the day is long. And if ever you get to the point to where you don't believe in it, it will make itself so apparent that you will not be able to deny its existence. Be good people. Be good people. In a world full of people who choose to be shitty people, don't be one of those people. Make that choice to be a good person today. Love ya. Mean it. Peace, bitches. All right. Well, oh shit. I didn't start it like I usually do. Hey guys, how you living? Are you doing well? Good. Glad to hear that. I started this one off differently. It was weird. This whole thing got started off differently though because I was laying on the couch watching Cheers, about to doze off and realized I hadn't released a podcast yet today, and I'm sorry for that. Sorry for coming at you so late. But anyway, this one, I started off talking about pretty much all of the things in my day that prevented me from releasing a podcast earlier and telling that story, and then going off on another tangent about, I can't remember what I was talking about, but what I eventually ended up speaking about was, going into the whole Brett Kavanaugh thing and bringing up the fact that it's a different world that we live in. I made a really cool analogy with a Mac about a Apple products or a MacBook or a Macintosh. If you have Apple products and you deal with your shit not working after a few years, then this will be a hilarious analogy for you. But I'm gonna let you listen to it in the episode because it's actually really good. I was impressed with it. But I gave my whole theory on that and talked about how it is indeed a different world and how it's time that we started treating people in the world differently and treating the world around us a lot differently and just all sorts of goodies like that. Let's see. Oh, all right. So please go to iTunes. Please go to Podomatic. Please go to Kelsey Hudgens YouTube. Please go to MI Stuff Facebook page. Find us on Google Play. I think we are on Spotify. Please like all of these pages. Subscribe to all of these pages. Go to MI Stuff Patreon. Go to MI Stuff GoFundMe. Hook us up with some dollars so we can buy some new equipment for this bitch. Please leave reviews. Let me know what you think. I am the only person in charge of all of these things. So if you send a message to any of these vessels of contact, I will be the one receiving these messages. Ask me anything. Let me know what you want me to talk about. Let me know who you want to have coming on these episodes, or anybody who you want on the podcast in the future. Speaking of podcasts in the future, My buddy James Phillips is going to be coming on, and we're going to be talking about some politics. We're going to be talking about all sorts of things that I've somewhat alluded to in this episode. Alicia Brown is going to be coming back to talk about the brain some more. Nick Andalora we're still rescheduling his episode, but he will be coming back 100%. Also, Tony Jarvis is going to be coming on over the next week or so, and we're going to be doing the Facebook Live episode of the podcast. That will more than likely be an in-betweener. That'll be on a different day than Sunday or Wednesday. Other than that, I can't think of anything else that is really, really, really important to tell you. Other than, please check out the Cornbread this weekend. We're going to be playing at Captain Archie's on Friday, 6:45 to 10:15, and at the Pilot House in Little River for the Shrimp and Jazz Festival, Saturday and Sunday from 2 to 6. Sunday may have a guest for you. Don't know yet. We'll find out. It'll be a surprise. Anyway, without further ado, episode number 69 on MI Stuff. Enjoy, motherfuckers. How you like that for time? Shit, yeah. Right up to it. All right, let me bring this volume slider down here. Sorry I came to you guys all late and shit tonight. I apologize for that. All right, let me find my all right. Where's it at? Let's see, 47 minutes. There, looks like an all right. I bet this is it. I don't think... No, it was an I. That's an all right, huh? Cheers, but I totally didn't think I would have 43 minutes of talking. I don't think. No, I don't know what the deal is. I don't know why there's so many questions out on the media, and I'm really telling us, and I don't want to tell the truth. All right. Well, let's put this right here then. Paste. All right, that's good. Fade that out to there. Put the ending. The finish line will go here. I was talking to Brother Inglis Glover doing asking me a few questions about the video camera. So apparently we're doing something right. If Brother Inglis is asking us what we're doing, it means we're doing something right. Number 69 on MI Stuff. Enjoy, motherfuckers. Okay, so this is let's give me a little more volume. It'll be a surprise. Anyway, without further ado, episode number 69 on MI Stuff. Enjoy, motherfuckers. Okay, so this is completely off the cuff, and we're just going to see how well we do winging it today because I have zero notes. I was literally laying on the couch watching Cheers, which is paused right now. And I was like, "Oh shit! I forgot to do a podcast. I forgot to release an episode." Or what's it? All right. Well, anyway, so I mentioned that I've been watching the American Horror Story. The new season, Apocalypse, is really good. Also mentioned I've been watching Cheers. If you never watched Cheers, you should go back and watch it, if nothing else, just to see how different life was back then, just to see how different people were treated, and just to see how the world looked from back then. Be good people. In a world full of people who choose to be shitty people, don't be one of those people. Make that choice to be a good person today. Love ya. Mean it. Peace, bitches. All right. Ex-Warrant. Episode number 69. Episode number 69, and I talked about women's rights the whole time. Not really. So I will say this before I get off of the YouTube thing. I'm doing this thing with Noah Byrne at Bubba's Love Shack on Tuesdays. I should have put this in the episode, but this will be good enough. I'm doing this thing with Noah Byrne on Tuesdays at Bubba's Love Shack it's going to be bingo night. We're going to be playing bingo, and then we're going to be doing open mic, and this open mic is going to entail of live music and also stand-up. So we'll have some folks coming to do some stand-up. We'll have some folks coming to play some music, some original music, some covers, whatever they feel comfortable doing. We're going to do that, and myself and Noah is going to be hosting this, and I will be his Ed McMahon, I guess you could say. I will be his Adam Egget to Norm Macdonald, and I'll be running sound and doing all the technical stuff. Noah is going to be hosting the bingo and also be the como se dice, ringleader, I guess you would say. He's going to be the master of events, I guess you would call it. Anyway, he's going to be doing that thing, and we're going to be doing that every Tuesday for as long as they'll allow it. We're going to try and see if they'll let us get 3 or 4 episodes of that. We're actually going to record this. It's going to be a bingo night, but it's also going to be variety show basically. So it's going to be like think of David Letterman, except if David Letterman hosts bingo as well. And we may have a panel. There's no telling yet, but we're definitely going to be recording it. We're going to be filming it, and we'll be releasing it on maybe all of the podcast channels. I may be releasing it on this channel. I'm not sure. It'll definitely be released on the Sunset Grill channel. So definitely look for it on the Sunset Grill channel, and there actually may be a new channel that may be coming out. It's called The Outlet Bingo Night Open Mic Stand-Up Variety Show, or the Facebook name is long as fuck. But I'll be talking more about this as we get further or closer to it rather, which is going to be happening Tuesday. The first one is Tuesday the 16th, which is 2 days after my birthday, which means the next episode that you guys get will be my birthday on Sunday. So I'll be 32 years old. Don't make no big deal out of it. It'll be episode number 70. But yeah, so the 16th, Bubba's Love Shack, 7 o'clock, I think. I know there's a lot of folks who still do the team trivia and Makos on Tuesdays. I want it to be on record that I encourage you to stay loyal to the Makos. I encourage you to do that. I want it to be on record that I'm saying this. I would love to see you at our show, but it's the last thing that I intend to do, to take a crowd away from somewhere else. These are not my intentions, and if this is what occurs, I want it to be on record that these are not my intentions. I've told my trivia team, and I've also told Nora Byrne that my trivia team will more than likely continue to go to trivia rather than come to our show, which surely they may come to the show every now and again, but I just want it to be known that I'm saying continue to do trivia. Continue to do the trivia thing. Also, I'll give you guys a lot of nice bonus content here at the end. Shit. I keep burping up Bovine's Pizza. I can also upload the podcast now. This will be the first time I'll have a podcast uploaded by the time I get done with the YouTube feed. Anyway, I also am going to be a part of this fishing show that I don't know how much of it I can talk about yet, but I am going to talk about the things that have already leaked because they're already out. So, I mean, there's no need in holding that up. I've been working on some music for this thing. I've made a couple of fishing songs. Like they sound like fishing show songs. And I have done those at Tyler Brown's request, and I think they turned out pretty damn good. But yes, so these things are going to start coming at you pretty soon. It's going to be a fishing show called Some Dumb or Dumb Fishing Show, I think it's called, or Some Dumb Fishing Show. I can't remember the exact name, but that will include myself, Tyler Brown, Adam Justice, and Noah Byrne. Actually, I say that backwards. It will include Tyler Brown, Adam Justice, Noah Byrne, and I will also be accompanying these guys because I'm 100% the one that doesn't belong in this picture. And I feel the same way about the Mellow Mushroom commercial and things like that. Like, I feel like I'm just tagging along, and I shouldn't be for some reason, but I'm just very blessed to be a part of this group. So I stoked to be doing that with them. But you'll be noticing certain things coming up later about that. May actually get those guys in here, and we'll do a Big Dumb Fishing Show episode of the podcast where we talk about the kind of things that you might want to expect going into that. Spoilers. All right, what should we name this episode? The I wonder what I should call this one. I'll tell you what I do when I can't think of what to call these episodes. You guys don't ever see this. Is seats in their respective communities. So obviously they had to have done a lot of things either very, very wrong or the day of the party or whatever, but she's missing one. Somebody and ask somebody questions into a corner. I won't be able to look back and say, okay, well, this is karma. This is my karma. There it is. The respect women or bad karma talk. Yeah, let's call it that. In this episode, I rambled about, what was the first thing I talked about in this thing? What did I come out the gate with? No! No, what did I just do? I don't know what I just did, but I didn't want to do it. Okay. I rambled about why I released this episode so late. Why I released this episode so late, comma. I don't need that comma there. That's irrelevant. In this episode, I rambled about why I released this episode so late. Gave a few minutes to the UFC fiasco. From the McGregor. I'm not going to say that because I don't know how to spell either of those right. Minutes to the UFC fiasco from the other night. And weighed in on the Kavanaugh situation. I also threw in some pretty sweet analogies in regards to showing proper respect to females. But it wasn't just about that. I threw some pretty sweet analogies in regards to showing proper respect to females and accepting new things. Or not necessarily accepting a new thing, accepting that that we are living in a different world. And accepting that the world has changed. There we go. Not F changed, just changed. Enjoy, folks. Add image. MI stuff. Tyler Brown art. Talk. Publish. Success. Manage. Save. Quit. Reload. One download yesterday. I missed a whole day of numbers because I forgot to release this earlier. Now these numbers will show up for a day later, which is fine. We got 130 downloads this week. 27 visits to the actual page. That's pretty good because not a lot of people check out the Podomatic page. Any second now, this thing should be published. And I'll be able to release everything all at once. All right, so I'm going to get out of here and go ahead and change the title to this YouTube video so that people will know what they're watching. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for paying attention. I appreciate you letting me ramble about these things. And, yeah, that's all I got for you. Be good people. Love you. Mean it.